This free audio discusses voluntary work, that you are coming into the United States, you will not be remunerated, you will not be paid, you will not receive a salary inside the United States. I deal with many people that have issues under this category, and I will give you a couple of scenarios I hear, and it will help you understand what is and what is not permitted. The typical scenario I hear is somebody is now questioned at an airport. They're now being questioned under secondary inspection. The Custom Border and Protection, the immigration official, is asking them questions. It might be something they're about to do. Should they be permitted into the United States? That will come out on the questioning. Or something will transpire from previous admissions into the United States, such as the officer will ask a question. So the last time you were inside the United States, I see that you stayed for a couple of months. Can you tell me, how did you support yourself? And the person will say, well, I had money in my bank account. Well, where did you get the money? Well, I had it from savings. Okay, so let me see evidence of those savings. Let me see your bank statements. Once the officer looks at the bank statements, they're going to then say something such as, well, these funds will support you for a couple of weeks, but we can see that from your last visit, you had spent over 10 weeks inside the United States. How did you support yourself? Did you work? Well, I didn't work per se, officer. I helped my uncle in one of his businesses. He didn't pay me any money. I just lived with him and he gave me food. And what did your uncle do? Well, my uncle owns a couple of stores, or my uncle owns a farm, or my uncle has a for-profit business in any service sector. That's a typical scenario where the person believes because they did not get a wage and or a salary, that instead the person took care of their lodgings, that they were not paid. The work was voluntary. Another scenario, well, why are you wishing to come into the United States? Well, I'm wishing to come into the United States, officer, because my friend has a business and she's asked me to help her out. I'm not going to be paid. I'm just going to be staying with her, or she's going to pay for my hotel, my lodgings. I have money in my own bank account that I'm going to pay for my food. But she just needs help. She has a startup company and she's a young mother, and they give a whole slew of reasons as to why their help is needed. And the officer will continue, well, will you be paid a weekly salary, or will you get any, cash? No, officer, it's nothing like that. I'm not going to be paid. It's voluntary. I'm not working for them. I'm just helping her out in her new business. And what is it you'll be doing? Well, I'll be talking to customers. I'll be answering the phone. I might be in on the office only one day a week. Nothing major, officer, but I'm not being paid. I'm just going to be living with her. All of those scenarios I've given you are work. It is unlawful. You are not permitted to work inside the United States unless you have a valid work visa that permits you to specifically do the work for the person you are stating you are going to do the work for. There is a clear distinction between voluntary work and the scenarios that I've just given you. The scenarios that I have given you, it doesn't matter that you're not being paid an income, a wage, a salary, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, whether you're not being paid cash or into the bank account. You are working. You are getting something in return for that work. Either they're giving you their lodgings. They don't even have to give you the lodgings. Maybe you have a very rich, maybe you've saved for many years yourself, or you have a rich parent, and you're not getting any money or any lodgings or any help from the person you're inside the United States doing the work for. That is not important. What's important is you are doing work inside the United States, and that is not permitted. The only persons that are permitted to participate in voluntary service programs are the following. If you do not come in under any of these, then you coming into the United States, whether you're getting your lodgings, your food, or a bit of gas in the car, I've heard that one before, causing huge problems for people. Or even if you're getting nothing in return, you cannot be coming into the United States to work. Participants in voluntary service programs are those that are benefiting US local communities who establish that they are members of and have a commitment to a specific recognized religious or non-profit charitable organization. So unless you are coming into the United States to assist either a recognized religious or non-profit charitable organization, anything else you do inside the United States, unless you are permitted to do it under a work visa, an employment visa that has been approved, is not permitted because it is deemed to be unlawful employment. You are working unlawfully inside the United States, and working unlawfully inside the United States has got nothing to do with whether you make money or not. You are just not permitted to come into the United States and work. So under the participants in a voluntary service program, no salary or remuneration should be paid from a US source other than an allowance or other reimbursement for expenses incidental to the volunteer's stay in the United States. So even those that come into the United States that wish to work for specific recognized religious or non-profit charitable organizations, they cannot even receive salary or remuneration paid from the United States unless they are under a permitted work visa that permits them to receive a salary. A voluntary service program is an organized project conducted by a recognized religious or non-profit charitable organization to assist the poor or the needy or to further a religious or charitable cause. The program may not, however, involve the selling of articles and or solicitation and acceptance of donations. The burden that the voluntary program meets the DHS definition of voluntary service program is placed upon the recognized religious or non-profit charitable organization, which must also meet other criteria set out in the DHS operating instructions regarding voluntary workers. You must assure that the written statement issued by the sponsoring organization is attached to the passport containing the visa for presentation to the DHS officer at the port of entry. The written statement will be furnished by the applicant participating in a service program sponsored by the religious or non-profit charitable organization and must contain DHS required information such as the person's name, date of birth, their permanent residence abroad, name and address of initial destination to the United States, and the volunteer's anticipated duration of assignment. So you simply cannot be coming into the United States even if you are not receiving a salary, if you are not being remunerated, even if you're just having your lodgings paid for, or you're having gas paid for, or somebody is just paying for you to be inside the United States, your necessities, so to speak, your board and your lodgings and your food. You cannot do that unless you are permitted to work inside the United States. The only time you are permitted to do voluntary work is if it is a specific religious organization or a non-profit organization. And I see this a lot, and it causes huge problems because once the officer gleans that you are working unlawfully, your visa, if you're entering under either a visa waiver, ESTA, tourist visa, business visa. I often even see it under people under J's because they may be working outside the remit of the J. It will be cancelled and or revoked. And now the only way you are going to get inside the United States is through a new visa, and you more than likely will need a waiver. And I discuss waivers in other audios. They are discretionary. It means the officer will decide whether they even want to take the waiver from you. Then it has to be adjudicated. You have lost a lot of your power when it comes to waivers. So be very careful, because I see this quite a lot. I see this coming up over and over. When people are entering at the airport, the officer starts asking them questions. Now they get them to sign this sworn statement, this I-877 sworn statement, and on it will be questions such as, what are you coming into the United States for? I'm coming in to help my friend. What does your friend do? My friend owns a shop. And will you be working full time? No, officer, I won't be working full time. I'll just be helping them out here and there. And are they going to pay you? No. So why are you doing it? Well, I'm living with them and they're going to help me, with the gas. Very minor amounts of money passed over. But the fact you are admitting that you are working, and it's not a religious organization and it's not a not-for-profit charitable organization, means you are breaking immigration laws and you are deemed to be working unlawfully, and you will be deemed to be inadmissible, denied entry into the United States, and visas will be revoked from you, and it will cause problems.